Okay, so you connected. You ready? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hold on a second. Let me just open up the email. Okay, cool. So let's get started. Cool. So hey, Alina, how you doing?
Oh, good. Thanks. How are you?
Great, thank you. So we want to speak a bit about Zendesk and SmartTrike. So maybe you could start by presenting yourself and telling us a little bit about SmartTrike.
Sure, no problem. So my name is Galina and I'm a customer support manager at SmartTrike. My team was working for more than 2 years with Salesforce and we made a decision to move to Zendesk. At this point, we decided to work with a company that will help us to make all the settings. So this is how we started our communication with Adelante.
Yeah.
My team is international, so I have people in Philippines, in Israel, in Germany that are working together. And pretty much now is the first month, few more days, it will be first month we'll be successfully using Zendesk.
Cool. And what's SmartTrike doing?
We are manufacturing toys, ride-ons for kids, scooters, trampolines, bicycles, tricycles, like everything you can imagine to let kids, develop their skills from 6+ months, all like grow with me products.
Okay, so everything kids ride on.
Yeah, absolutely. Safe.
And yeah, and you have a B2B operation, and also you're doing e-commerce online, right?
Yeah, absolutely right. We have B2B communication. We have direct communication with the customers as well. My team is service for customers that buying items all over the world. Language doesn't matter here. We make service in English. We do have a German speaker, French speaker, Hebrew speaker, so they can provide the service in the native language. And yes, we as well are covering all the requests related to our website, all the e-com related things.
Great. Okay, so let's speak a bit on how it was before you implemented Zendesk. What were you doing and what did you experience back then?
Okay, near 2 years ago, we started to use Salesforce. I joined the team at the moment when all the settings were done already. So there was a nice platform, but all the settings were overwhelming and making pretty much impossible to make our service in a fast way. It was very complicated for the team to follow up all the instructions to keep all the data that's needed to reports for different departments. So we are getting near 2,500 cases a month. Traffic channel is email. We have social media as well, but it was not connected to Salesforce. We have review website called Stamp. It's not connected. It was not connected to Salesforce. And just a few months before we started to work with Zendesk, we launched the WhatsApp just for one country for now, for Israel. So pretty much everything was working, if it's possible to say, just on the basic level. So we were not able to develop the system that was already overwhelmed at that point. So we made a decision that it's easier to build something from scratch. We already know what we need. We already know what information we want to keep. We know what reports needed. We know how to make customers satisfied. We know that we have huge amount of one-touch tickets. So we decided to move to a different CRM system that can solve our problems. Why we picked up Zendesk for that solution was pretty easy. We got a huge amount of recommendations about Zendesk. Price point was great. And from all the partners that we have, we got a comment that it's very easy to operate. So I'm the one who's actually making all these dashboards, all these system updates. And I'm really happy to say that it's not driving me crazy anymore, because the complicated way how it was done in Salesforce, one small change could destroy the logic and all the tips that are in the system. And it's very hard for you to clarify what exactly was ruined or what's not working now. Here, I do keep in mind all the things that can affect triggers automations, but it's taking me really like a few minutes to check if my change affected something. and I can easily do a test at the same time I'm making this upgrade for system.
Yeah, cool. So it's kind of like with Salesforce, a lot of the time you need someone professional to manage it.
Absolutely.
And then with Zendesk, you can just do it yourself. If you need a small change or build an automation, you can build the workflow yourself.
Absolutely right.
It
And
gives
like
a lot of power.
time for this is like you send request to the service company for Salesforce. Yes, they're saying, okay, we need 2 hours to check that. And what's happening then with the data coming back? So, okay, we need actually 6 hours to make the export you requested. And you're like, okay, I waited the 3rd day already. So who knows where the 6 hours? So just time consuming, and it's really affected the workflow. You can adjust daily. It's a broad direction. You can decide to track, and you feel really each week. So if it's all the time taking so much time, it's really frustrating, and it's actually damaging the workflow you have.
Yeah, totally agree. So what changed after you implemented the Zendesk?
It was a nice challenge for my team to get used to a new platform. It was pretty simple. There was no things that were actually preventing them from doing their work. It took some time for them to get used to the fields and information and how with dynamic fields, as soon as you pick up the type, all the fields automatically changes to the ones that feel specifically for this case. It's like going well. As far as like for now, we're really satisfied with the way how information is presented in the ticket. We have now much more power in the ticket itself. So we are working with Magento for today. So for us, it's very important to get information about the customer's order in a second. With a simple add-on, we have it now in the ticket, and we can get the tracking information within a few seconds. Okay, I know that this could be done automatically, but based on the amount of tickets now, we're able to solve it manually. But generally speaking, it's like 30 seconds for that ticket to give a tracking number to a customer, which is absolutely excellent. We did like test it before that with the regular login to Magento and searching for the right order. It's like 4.5 minutes. So I assume I'm not paying at least 30% of timing that I supposed to pay before for the same ticket, which is excellent. We do have all this, different types of information we want to keep about the ticket. Even for the reviews, I make my team save some notes. When I'm saying notes, I mean fields. And it was very easy for me to settle up that logic. So in previous system, they had to think, if the system is saying, oh, you forgot to put some information, you still have in front of you like 80 fields. In Zendesk, listen, you forgot to put solution. And they're like, okay.
I need to put the solution. I need to complete the solution.
So now for them, it's like much more convenient, and they're getting advice directly from the system, which is absolutely great.
Awesome. So what do you think contributed the most to the success of the project?
I think it was, if we're speaking about the project generally for Zendesk and Adelante service, I think it was very helpful to give all the data right away in the beginning of communication about the company, about the expectations, about needs, and to have these few calls that we arranged in the beginning of our collaboration, just to speak about things, to raise up different questions, to have this quiz about what I actually need. Because in the end of the day, I'm, for example, in love with like learning new things. So I went over and I started to check these views and macros and everything much earlier than Adelante specialists provide me with that information. But when I logged into the system, I already understand what was the logic, and this logic was correct, settled up according to our comments, saying, okay, we want to see views like this, and we need that information to be visible straight when we logged into the system. So it was right there when I first time logged in. Yes, some changes were made, but changes were made not from the first step. Changes were made as soon as my team started to work, and they're like, okay, looks like we need one more list because it started to be crazy.
Yeah.
And this is completely fine. So we got a very good background of the things to work on. And I think was very helpful as well, even though Zendesk given so much data about what you can do there. All these like small videos from Adelante team saying, okay, if you want to connect Facebook, all you have to do is you have to go here and here and just do the sections. It was as well very nice, even though there is like tons of articles. As soon as you see the second article, you already have a feeling that this will be a nightmare now for you to do things. So it's really helpful.
Yeah, so it's really our purpose to kind of simplify Zendesk, and instead of you going through like 20 articles and trying to figure out what to do, and just give you a short video tutorial that takes you straight to the point. So that's great to hear. And so what was the problem you initially wanted to solve when you started this project? What were your challenges around Zendesk?
The main challenges were to make settings that are very easy to adjust. Second thing was very important to keep all the data that customers are sharing with us, and at the same time, not to make stress for the team members to work with that amount of information. So for both these challenges, we pretty much succeed because, for example, for now, after all the settings, all the questions and communication with the Adelante team, I can say that like I can make automation, I can make a trigger, I will not have like shaking hands because of that, I will not be afraid, I know how to deactivate it, I know where to go to check what I actually did. And all the internal settings, basic one at least, I can do very comfortably. And the second question about overwhelming the team with things as well, I was advised to use the dynamic fields, the ticket forms, which is working great for now. My team is happy. They see exactly what they have to focus on. They're not saying, but why we have to add so much data anymore. So we really succeeded with the both challenges, the main ones that we have as soon as we started with Zendesk.
Cool. That's really great to hear. And what do you think was the impact of working with us in comparison to doing it alone or with another company?
I can tell you that first of all, it's for sure the speed of how fast we get to the point when we were comfortably using system. For example, and now as soon as I'm working with the platform for months, I'm learning dashboards. I'm excited to read tons of articles, to check this millions of videos. And in the end of the day, it took me like a few hours a day for like 2 weeks already. Yeah. I'm pretty much sure that if I will have like some specific request that I need urgently, I can easily contact Adelante and say, okay, this is my goal. I need instructions and I do want to make it by myself, but I need clear guideline how to make this happen. Really, the main point is the speed of how fast things can be achieved. Mm-hmm. That's extremely nice. And the second thing is the logic. So doesn't matter how good you know what you expect from the platform, without people that will tell you, listen, think 2 times more before you do this action, because it will affect you on a different level. It's as well important. Because during the communication, I can't give you the example, unfortunately, right now, but I do remember there was some things that we discussed, and Adelante especially said, listen, yes, we know what you want to reach, but this is not the way. Let's try to move in that case. And this was helpful because for like amount of data, like for dashboards, for example, I was ready to create tons of fields. And I just got a comment say, no, it can be easier. It can be like much more accurate than you expect. And I'm like, okay, now I will do it better. So yes, this is for sure the first.
Right.
And the second is like the quality of these solutions. Because you can read tons of articles, check millions of videos, find 10 top work best cases for Zendesk. And in the end of the day, it's not going to solve your problem. It can solve one problem, but create extra 5.
Yeah, it can be complex if you just try to study and do it on your own. And the idea is really to kind of empower you and give you the tools to do it independently. Yeah, so cool. So let's dive a bit more to before we started working together. So how did you hear about us?
I got a comment from my advisor. I was working with one of the managers from a different company. He was giving me tips like with what companies to work, what things to read, what newsletter to check more each morning, etc. And he said that he was working with us with you a few years ago, and he said, give it a try, and you will see it will work for you. Because we were not willing to create something, extraordinary, because my concern was with all our data and vision, we can come to a company and company can, use that in let's say in not a correct way, say, oh, you know what you want is like really complicated. In the end of the day, after the first call with Adelante, we got a comment back saying, okay, we know what you want. Okay, these settings are pretty clear. We don't have like any concerns about that. This is the package that will solve your problem. So we didn't have this huge, timing on rethinking the project together and try to find some, extraordinary task. It was a very clear task from our side, as I see it, and a very confident answer from service company that was, okay, we know what you need, which matter for us.
Yeah, so we worked on like, maybe that's good, like worth saying that instead of like doing an hourly project, which can get carried over and you don't really know, you know where you're starting, but it's difficult to know where you're going to end. Absolutely. Then we had like a clear fixed price project, and we had a scope, and we agreed on the scope, and then we just went forward and implemented everything that you wanted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So what actually made you decide to start working with us?
I think it was two things. First of all, you're listed on the page for Zendesk as an official partners, which is really nice. 21st century, access to the internet, make it work. And the second advice from my advisor, one of my advisors that I was working that time, his opinion really matters. And it was pretty easy for my manager to approve the budget for that. So like, this is how this cooperation appeared.
Yeah.
So it was easy. Goes to Adelante here.
Yeah. What did you say? Sorry, I didn't get this.
I'm saying that first point was that you were listed in this official partners for Zendesk on the website. And as that my advisor gave a comment that it's worth to work with Adelante. And for my manager, it was really easy to say, okay, if this is the company you wish to go for, like do this. So it's easy for me to get a budget. So 2 points go to Adelante, 2 from 2. And I had no choice. So in a good way.
Cool, great to hear. So let's maybe you can describe our work, like the actual work with us. Which part was the most effective for you, and why, other than the trainings and the settings?
I think the most effective thing for me was, even it will sound strange, an email communication. The reason for that is because I do like to check things by myself, and I do like to try and do things by myself. So as soon as I have trusted service company, I expect to have a very serious backup for things that I can destroy, in the new platform. So when I was saying I'm trying to do this action, but from 3 points on the second one, I have an issue and I'm doing this, tell me if I'm doing right. I was receiving a response pretty fast saying, the thing that you are doing is right, but looks like you're missing the step number 4, which is preventing you from reaching the goal. So this was for me specifically, and I'm a very visual person. So as soon as I see it once and I see it with like a really good comment with an argument saying, this is how you have to do, and not in any different way. And doesn't matter what it says in this article, this is just information and this is the practice. So this worked for me well as well. Videos, yes, they were helpful. Calls, they were helpful, especially in the beginning. It was nice to have a personal touch with the company and not just fill out different briefs saying, okay, this is all the data we want you to know, do with it something. So it was nice when we had a call to settle up our partnership first, and after that with account manager, who was helping me during the whole road. So it was very nice to see a person that you will be in touch with, because it matters, like 99% it matters. There's a small 1% that sometimes you are not so related to it, but when you're patient about something and when you do want to make things work, for me it was very comfortable to message even with the phrasing saying, okay, I followed instructions, but on this point, something is not working for me. I'm missing this point. I got a very clear comment back or video, even from my system, and I was getting notification as soon as any of the Adelante team members logged in. Because of security settings, I got notifications, so I was aware that on my questions, someone is working. So this is giving me that coverage and confidence that, okay, it means I will get an answer within next hour. So I was waiting. Yeah.
Great. So thank you very much for this word, and I'm very happy to hear this. So really last question. So why would someone that listens to us now should decide to start working with us?
I think the main task for each and every manager or team leader or a person that is responsible for project like moving the platform or upgrading the platform is to make a decision what is the final goal. If the final goal is to reach specific KPIs, to reach the goal to decrease amount of requests that people are working manually or etc., it means Adelante is a good solution. So if people wish to do this within a clear time period, if people think that, okay, I have for this 6 months, so I don't have to worry about it, and who knows if this is actually what I need, this is a little bit problematic attitude. But if there is something that actually, let's say, hurts to a team or a company, and there is the way to solve it, I don't see a problem to work with people that know what they're doing. I think it's more problem not to know what is the next step for your platform, And I really think that it's nice to have and continue communication with the service company, even without a specific project. If once in a year you can message people that are working with your platform daily, saying, hi, I'm looking for some good solutions for optimizing my workflows. Is there something new that appeared on the market and I never heard about it? This was as well, first, a lot of efforts, a lot of experience, and a lot of money for the brand, because if we can be up to date with things, it means we can be up to date with the level of service we provide. So I do think that main point to understand that companies are ready to work with Adelante is to have a final goal. As soon as they know what they want, Adelante is the great place to ask and to know how this goal can be reached. Because, for example, when I first heard the company title, I went to Google. I'm doing everything that Googled, like good is connections and everything. Google as well knows everything. So I went over website and I was impressed by reading things like you can decrease the amount of tickets you solve manually by, who knows, like 70%. I don't even remember. It was like great numbers, very clear information. And believe me, it's very hard to impress me by numbers because I'm never trusting this nice website. But it was very clear what exactly your company is offering. So if there is someone who is ready to grow, I think instead of thinking how to do this by myself, it's better to take a part of this, some Facebook, advertising budget, and put this effort on the service and quality of the platform and reach much better results. So in the end of the day, each and every solution is giving some benefit moving forward to a company. So I think this can be really helpful for like different brands as well.
Thank you very much. Really, I'm really excited to hear that. Makes me red a bit. Cool. So yeah, like the purpose is really to help you give better service and to kind of create some peace of mind for you and help your customers. So I'm really happy that we're able to achieve that and help you with your goals. Any last words?
Can you repeat the last sentence?
I said I'm really happy that we're able to help you achieve this peace of mind and help you with your customers. And if you have any last words.
Oh, I think I don't want to say last words with Adelante. I will say that I wish you a great customers and great cases, so you can show up the level of your knowledge and experience in the most successful ways you can do it. And I will be really happy to know about different companies' practices with Adelante. And I will be happy to see, great feedbacks in LinkedIn from different customer support managers saying that they achieved unbelievable results with you. And it really was a pleasure to work with so, professional and customer, in this case, brand-oriented team.
Yes, great. I'll also be happy to continue working with you together and doing stuff in the customer experience area. So thank you very much. Have a good day.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Wait, I'm stopping.